Hey guys, there's a guy I want you guys to listen to. His name is Derek Seaver. He was the founder of CD Baby. That used to be a very big website back in the late 1990s, early 2000. Now I don't think that website's as good as it could be because everyone downloads music now. But back then, if you were a musician, you created a CD. The biggest thing back then was you burn a CD, and then you somehow have to sell it, and then people buy it, and then you ship them the CD. You know, back then, maybe in the late 1990s and early 2000s, MP3 players were so expensive still. You know, the iPod just came out from Apple, and that was like the biggest thing ever. Anyways, his name is Derek Seaver, and he talked about if you're passionate about something and you want to be really good at something, he said just go and do it, and do a lot of it. And basically, I think these behavioral psychologists wanted to see if that theory is correct. And so they gave, this pottery teacher gave these students a project to do. One group of students, he said, by the end of the year, I want you guys to come up with 10 nice pieces of pottery artwork. And the other group of students, he divided the class in half. The other group of students, I don't care what you do, just use at least 500 pounds of pottery clay. And then after that, pick your best 10 work. Okay, so one group of students have access to 500 pounds, but their end goal was to have 10 nice pieces to show. And this other group, he said, you know what, I want you to use all 500 pounds by the end of the year, and then after that, just show your best work. It didn't have to be 10, right? And what happened was the group that only had to focus on 10 artwork, they were really, anal about it. They tried to perfect everything. And then the group that had to force to use that 500 pounds of clay, they kept on perfecting the clay, kept on doing it. And then what happens, they brought in these clay experts to come in and judge the artwork. And they didn't tell these clay experts experiment. And guess what happened? What do you think happened?
Was it the latter of making more creative work?
Very close. There was no difference. And actually the latter was more creative, more expressive. And so what happened is, there's two schools of thought. One school of thought is you want to, the problem is I teach art and design at a public school, and what happened is sometimes the students get so focused on the end product, they work on one project. And I don't like that. I try to get the students to work on many projects, many small projects, and all these small projects are building blocks for one big project, right? And so what I do sometimes, the first 6 weeks of the course, we build a lot of small projects, and these small projects give them the skill for the final project. And then the final project utilize all these skills from the 6 projects. But some teachers don't like that. Some teachers just give them one big project, and then somehow they have to do that. And the problem is that some people are perfectionists. They want that one project to look amazing. And the problem with that is you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't have that skill, you don't have that skill. So when you're attacking something complex and something new, you have to build the skill, you have to build the creativity, you have to build the sophistication in looking at what you're creating. And so you're getting bombarded with so much need, and that can overwhelm people, right? And so, like martial art or any endeavor, sometimes it's very important just to do a lot of it. And when you do a lot of it, you learn a lot. So case in point, I almost have 1,000 videos on YouTube. Now about 700 of it is released to the public. And so every time I'm doing it, I get better. All right, I get better, I get quicker, my sensitivity gets better. All right, and so some YouTube videos I spend a lot of time on, others I just release. And so my body of work's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. All right. Today, for example, I had to finish a couple flyers, and I couldn't find my old flyers, so I whipped something up really quick. And I spent the first hour and a half, 2 hours looking for my flyers that I did 2-3 years ago. Couldn't find it. Anyways, I whipped them up really quick. My execution was pretty good. And I dropped these flyers off at this fitness facility, and I might not get anything out of it, but I pushed myself, because every time I go out there and I push for business, every time I go out there and connect with people, my business skill, my communication skills, my confidence get better and better. You know what I mean? And what happens is sometimes I encounter people who are starting on business, and they want everything to be perfect. You know, they agonize over one little business card. They agonize over the brochure. They agonize over the sign of the goes in front of their door. You know what I mean? it's wrong. Just do it. Just do it. Get better, get better, get better. Make a lot of little mistakes. And then one day when that big project comes, one day when that big opportunity comes, you're ready to tackle it. Versus being afraid to make these mistakes. The person who's most successful is the person who can replicate success or failures over and over again. So if you fail at something, you try to figure out how you failed, make it better. If you're successful at something, you try to figure out how you can make it more successful and replicate it. But if you only have one success, then it's hard to replicate that process. You know what I mean? And so same with the way we train here, we constantly replicate things, constantly figure out what works, what doesn't work, even when Evander win or lose. Right? So it's very important that we put in the time in this class so that when he wins or loses on the day of the fight, we have something to go on. And so that's anyways the guy.